Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Politics Unfiltered.
Racism's alive, don't look away. Ice raised the streets, innocent lives pay. Money for the missiles, money for the war. But somehow there's nothing to feed the poor. What really happened to Nolan Wells? We're asking the questions nobody else tells. The White House is on fire, the people demand truth without fear, justice in this land. Politics unfiltered, no favors, no lies. Speaking truth to power, open your eyes. Politics.
We need y'all sharing. Share this broadcast with your family and friends and let them know that we are on the air. Politics Unfiltered. We are your hosts, Andre, Jaho, JD, and Deshaun. How y'all doing?
What up, though?
Chilling, man.
What up, people?
Yeah, ready to get into this show. I'm gonna give them 30 seconds to share and to come on in here.
For sure. Yeah, love that intro.
Thank you.
Yep.
Love it.
AI is a powerful tool.
For sure. I think AI is about as powerful as the inputter.
The user, yes.
A good job.
Yeah, I guess so.
Mhm.
Not trying to blow smoke up my tail, you know.
Nah.
Welcome everybody to Politics Unfiltered. So, first things first, we have an update on Nolan Wells. We will be talking about, and as you see in the lower third, what if Kamala Harris was the president right now? But before we do that, we have an update from the Nolan Wells case, and we're going to go to TMZ's Harvey Lennon with the report.
Nolan Wells' family held a news conference today, and their attorney, Ben Crump, revealed the results of the independent autopsy. Crump says that there was something on Nolan Wells' skull, his head, that revealed a possible injury, a possible head injury. This is more complicated than it seems. Crump said that it was the focal area of red discoloration in the soft tissue in the back of the head. And so that suggests, with red discoloration, that there might have been some sort of injury. Crump did not elaborate on that. Now we should say, and we are not medical professionals, but WebMD talks about this, and we've actually seen this in other autopsies, where when a body is put on a slab, that can cause discoloration, that can cause the pooling of blood. Now, we don't know that happened here, but we do know that this independent autopsy followed the official autopsy, where presumably Nolan Wells' body was put on a slab. So in terms of what caused this discoloration, this redness, Crump never elaborated. We certainly don't know, but there seem to be alternate theories here. Now, Crump said the cause and manner of death, according to this independent medical examiner, are still undetermined. He said there were problems conducting the autopsy, that the throat area had been removed, presumably by the medical examiner in the official autopsy, for some kind of further examination. And we have no idea what the official autopsy shows, because it has not yet been revealed. This is the independent autopsy that we're talking about. Crump says that the medical examiner for the independent autopsy, although he couldn't determine cause and manner of death, could not rule out foul play. So there are not a lot of answers here. There are interesting facts, but the reasons behind what Crump is talking about have not been revealed yet. We don't know if those reasons are something that the independent medical examiner knows and has not yet revealed, whether there are going to be more tests that might show whether there was an injury to the head or whether this was pooling based on the body laying on a slab. We don't know. And we don't know what the official medical examiner is going to say regarding all of this. And it is possible, if it was pooling, that it's something that the official medical examiner didn't see, but the independent examiner did because of the length of time the body was laying on the slab and when the autopsies were performed. So we don't know that. Crump is reiterating that he wants videos, he wants information, he wants to know what happened to Nolan Wells. And he says that as you piece things together, listening to witnesses and looking at video, the picture is going to become clearer. He did not say this is a case of foul play. He did invoke the name of other people who have died as a result of racial murders, including Emmett Till. And he's not necessarily linking that with Nolan Wells, but he's certainly raising it. So this was a presentation given to the Mississippi chapter of the NAACP. Nolan Wells' mother and father both spoke, talking about the nightmare they're enduring and the fact that there are people actually accusing them of being racist, which is really kind of abhorrent because they have not really reached any public conclusion at all, one way or the other, about whether race plays a factor in this. So we will see, but right now, what we have is preliminary findings of a medical examiner, and it is unclear what caused that redness on Nolan Wells' skull. And hopefully, we are going to hear more about that, both from the independent and official medical examiners.
All right. Well, y'all heard that.
Yes.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Still a lot of questions, guys. Still a lot of questions.
There's too many questions.
Removing parts of his throat,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff from the first medical exam. I believe they're trying to hide something. The friends, everybody's hiding. You know, like if this would have
Yeah.
been something around our circle, I don't see how any one of us would be in hiding unless we did it.
Right.
Right. Exactly. No, it's. I mean, I really was. I'm kind of disappointed, which I'm sure a lot of people are. That's rooting for the family. I was really hoping that this independent autopsy would like really give us like some kind of concrete,
Hmm.
like yeah, cause of death looked like it was definitely this, and we're not seeing that so far. It's still just up in the air, and it's really just leaving us with more questions, and it's disappointing.
Yeah, it is disappointing. It's disappointing, but again, it's not surprising, and that's the sad part.
Facts. Yeah.
That's the sad part. It shouldn't be this way, but it is what it is. It's not it's nothing, there's nothing new, it's nothing new. I really feel bad for the
And
family, for the parents.
to be calling the parents racist, like I'm like I've heard, I think every time that the mother has spoken, and yeah, that's wow, that's crazy.
Right.
But they do say every what they say every accusation is some sort of admittance. So
Hmm.
maybe the people who's called racist is racist.
Yeah, you think, because at the end of the either that or they're hearing is everyone else speak and not the parents. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
was thinking
Because
that too. Yeah.
yeah, because the parents I heard the mom. I didn't hear the dad speak, but I heard the mom say,
Hmm.
um, something she said, and she was actually concerned for his friends. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Right.
that
Exactly. Yeah. She showed compassion to
yeah,
the friends.
yes, yes, and it's sad if they are responsible. You know, what and this is me just speculating, you know what I'm saying? But it very well could more likely be that one or two of the friends were involved and the whole group was dragged into it. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to like snitch or tell on other people. So it's kind of like they got dragged into it and everything looks fishy because I mean, it's obvious that it's not, you know, there's obvious that this is not a clean cut. There's something going on. You know what I mean? It's too many inconsistencies for what are we doing right now? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also the mother has been getting death threats. So she actually addressed it on her social media. She's been getting death threats. Why are you threatening the mother? She's done nothing wrong. She's mourning right now. See, this is the thing. Black people have to be graceful when their child dies. Emmett Till. Do you remember the death of Emmett Till? Emmett Till's mother had his picture put out there so everybody could see, but she had to still be graceful. You know what I'm saying? She could have cut up and acted the fool, but she didn't. Now, obviously, back in those days, maybe if that would have happened now, it would have been a different story, but she still had to be graceful. Anytime a black person's child dies, the parents have to be so graceful. Now, in the case of Carmelo Anthony, I'm not sure if y'all familiar with that case, but in that case, that father, that father of Daniel Metcalf, the white boy, his father's racist because he's mourning, right? But then he's throwing out racial slurs to Carmelo Anthony. Now, if I'm mourning, am I gonna be racist in my mourning? No, the racism is already in him, so it's just naturally coming out. You know?
Yeah, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You know what I'm saying? So whatever's in there, you know, it ain't gonna come out if it ain't in there. You know what I'm saying? So,
and he
you
said
know,
some nasty stuff.
Listen, and it probably was there, but he probably and you know maybe he wouldn't have said that on any regular given day. You know what I mean? But you get put under pressure, you know, and your child dies and you're hurting. You know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna say what's in your heart. It doesn't make it any easier that your child died. It doesn't make it, you know what I'm saying, regardless of like whether they were in the wrong or not. You know what I'm saying? Like if we have children and if our children did something wrong and warranted someone to take their life, it's not gonna hurt any less. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna just be like, oh well, I lost my kid, but they shouldn't have did that. You know what I mean? Like so it's still gonna hurt, you know, but when you under the public eye, what it lets me realize, it scares me, man. All this stuff, I don't watch too much. Like I said, you got me on here because you know I'm not like the big politic guy, right? So I'm just gonna give it plain, but I'm like, it scares me the ignorance of people, bro. Like it just lets you know anytime these things happen, it just lets you know that the responses from people are the most ignorant things you can think of. It's like, how do you call the parents racist if you actually listen to what they said? But you don't listen to what they said. You just hear what you hear through the grapevine, and the person who's saying it to you is going to say it to you with a bias. So whatever bias you hear it with is the bias that most people accept, because everybody's too lazy to do any real research. Nobody really wants to find out any facts or go any deeper or find anything out. They just hear what the person, you know how ridiculous stuff you hear over time? You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, they were able to tell women that, you know, crazy things about sex. Some of the stuff that I've heard people say, like, oh, I was told if you kiss a boy, you can get pregnant. Like these are things that I heard people say, like, you know what I mean? Older people say, because there was no information. Right now, there's too much information. It's way too much information for people who are unprepared to process the information that they're getting. You know, and that's a dangerous thing. When you have too much information and you ain't ready to process it, it's a problem, and that's what we have right now.
Yeah, you're right. The things that they said to us back then, you can't tell nobody that now, because this thing right here, man.
Yeah,
this is everything.
information, no wisdom. Information and no understanding. You know, knowledge without understanding is dangerous. It's dangerous. It drives people crazy.
It
That's
is.
why it's this one line in Men in Black in the first one. I'm kind of paraphrasing it, but he said, he was like, Will Smith was like, yeah, why don't you tell people, why don't you tell people that there's aliens on Earth? Like, whatever, people can handle it. He's like, people are smart, they can handle it. He was like, a person is smart and they can handle it. People are crazy and erratic and irrational. Like, you tell a group of people something without any understanding, they're gonna go crazy. You might be able to sit one particular person down and explain it to them, but we getting information with no explanation, bro. People are going crazy, calling people racist, having riots. Like, what? I mean, you get mad and you tear up your own neighborhood, and then they turn around. White people turn around and use it against us and say, look, they're animals. They're tearing up their own neighborhood. It's like, I don't know, man. Let me get off this. Anyway, next. I'm done.
I mean that makes sense, because I've seen that. I never understood that though. Like Rodney King, they beat Rodney King, and then the L.A. riots. Like, if they did that, why are you destroying your neighborhood? Like, I never really got that. You're destroying the mom and pop shop that you're supposed to be supporting, and that's not, the police don't care that you're doing that. All they gonna do is just arrest you. They don't
Right.
care.
They're not doing that in Beverly Hills. They didn't go to Beverly Hills to do that.
You would
Because
think that's what they were gonna do. Now, I remember during George Floyd, when George Floyd had got killed, they were rioting and they were actually burning police stations, and they were rioting Target and that kind of stuff. Not saying that they should do that, but
yeah, I know, yeah,
at
I know.
least you going to where you're supposed to be going if you're gonna do it. Don't go to your own neighborhood.
Man, listen, I don't know, bro. Like I said, I'll digress with that because I don't want to sway the conversation. Go ahead.
Ah, you good? You got something to add to that, Sean?
Nah. I'm good. I'm saving it. I'm saving it up. Let's go.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to the main topic for today, which is Kamala Harris. What if Kamala Harris was the actual president? What if she won the presidency?
Mhm.
We see everything that's going on with the war. I keep going back to that song. What's it? Keep Your Head Up, Tupac.
Mm.
And I did put that. If you listen to the intro, I put that line in the intro, the new intro. Money for wars, but can't they refuse to feed the
And
poor.
feed the poor.
They refuse. It's
Mhm.
not that they can't do it, they refuse to.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They're taking away SNAP benefits from mothers. Now, I know that people have abused the system. I can't just say black people. Listen, I was on SNAP at one time. I was on food stamps at one time, and when I was in that line, I saw white.
Mhm.
I saw white folk in there too. So
Mhm.
it ain't just a
So
black thing. You
now,
know what I'm saying?
statistically speaking, we
Yep.
are the minority, even when it comes to SNAP benefits. Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
white. There's a lot of whites on SNAP benefits.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
something else I noticed too back then is that, so I got a little job when I was younger, moving for a moving company, and I was on Snap and all that. Jewish people, the Jewish wives, you know how the Hasidic Jews with all that stuff on the hat and the whole get up and how their wife be looking, their wives would be in the food stamp office, but then the Jewish man is a millionaire, literally.
Yeah,
Because
I'm gonna
I,
tell you
That
this.
happens a lot.
you know, it's like, what?
Yeah, it
That's
does.
abuse.
And
That
now
is abuse in the
I'm
system.
gonna tell you this. I know. I know. This Cambodian lady, and she was
Mm.
talking about how it goes down in communities, certain communities, and that she
Mhm.
knows of in the Cambodian community. Um, and this is certain ones, right?
Yeah.
But she was saying how they're married overseas, but when
Mhm.
they come over here, they're like, yeah, nah, she's single. She got these kids on her
Mhm.
own or whatever. So on paper, she's single, so she qualifies for all these benefits or whatever. Meanwhile,
Cause they got mad kids
they're
too.
together. Yeah, they got mad
Yeah.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
They got
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're
Mm-hmm.
together, but you always have it's all everything is made everything, and I say everything, I mean media. It's always made up to make us look bad in some sort of way. Like
Of
we're
course.
always we're
Of
always
course.
the one that's the problem. We're the ones that's
Of
causing
course.
the issues or whatever the case may be. And it's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we are trying to play by the rules. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
and get demonized. We don't play by the rules, but nobody is playing by the rules. Everybody else is playing funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
Yeah. Exactly.
and again, man, I see, and this is what I'm talking about. That's why when people try to be like, "Oh, you just go vote," I'm like, nigga, forgive me. I'm like, yo, miss me with that, son. Like, miss me with all of that. Miss me with all of that, please. Like, miss me with all of that. I don't think I vote. I don't think, is anything wrong with voting. But let's please stop believing the nonsense, please. Like, can we please? Like, it's gonna take more than that, B. Like, we need people to vote. We also need people to march, and we also need people to fight. That's what it is. We need people to stand. We need people who like right now. It's this whole campaign to throw dirt on the name of Dr. King, and they done bamboozled black people to do it because we heroize. We make Malcolm a hero, but then look at Martin Luther King like he was a sucker or something.
Of fear.
And I'm like, all the stuff this dude had to deal with, all the people, not just him, but all the people that he was with had to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't the only person getting hosed, bro. It was mad people getting hosed down and killed and beaten and thrown in jail. You know what I'm saying? So it is people who was part of that fight who's then still in jail right now. So like when you try to throw, how dare you? Whether you agree with him or not, how dare you? Like, I feel the same way about Malcolm X. How dare you throw dirt on this man? Like, we needed both of them in the fight. It wouldn't have worked without both of them. Somebody had to march and somebody had to take the punches without fighting back so that we could show all this so people can't use that. You can't use, oh, they're animals or they're violent, they're this, they're that. Because you had a whole section of people showing you we're not violent. You guys are being violent against us and we're doing nothing back to you. Yeah. So you can't say we're all violent because we just proved to you that we're not. Now, you also can't say, oh, they're all pushovers because we know that you got to stand. So that was Malcolm's stance more so. You know what I mean? That is portrayed to the public. Like, I'm not gonna go deep into what their actual philosophies were because we could do that and that would take all day. But just from what people know of the two, they try to act like they were like total opposites. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm didn't catch a bullet till they started talking to each other, and they were more synergized. Yep. And then that's when everything got broken up. So let's stop with all this stuff, and then stop throwing dirt on these people's names. They was human. All right, cool. Listen, let me tell you something right now. The people who got freed, the people who got pardoned from prison by the president, you think them people that, now if you had 25 years to life, you know what I'm saying, that you doing in prison, and you was there wrongfully accused, and then the president comes and pardons you from your sentence, and then you find out that president cheated on somebody, you going back to jail? Because you're like, how dare that president is immoral. I'm not taking this pardon from him. No, you're going to take the pardon, you idiot. So at the end of the day, shut up. And what are we talking about? We talking about this man's character? Or are we going to talk about what he did? Like that might have been part of his character. I don't know if it was or not. People say that it was documented, that this was part of his character, all that. I'm like, even if it was part of his character, look at what he did for, like, the fight that he put up. He died fighting for something that you're benefiting from. How dare you put your words on this guy? You got your mind? Like, I would never talk. I don't care what. Like, I'm not talking bad. How dare you, man? Y'all are some ungrateful freaking people, bro. Like, this stuff kind of pisses me off, man. Because I'm like, how dare you? Y'all let people talk about Bill Cosby. Y'all let people talk about y'all, and y'all do it. Y'all let them trick y'all into talking about all the people who actually did something to benefit you. So what? So what? They did something in their life. They gonna pay for whatever it is they did. Let God be the judge of that. But you ain't gonna sit up here and you taking money from people. Like you take money from the government, right? You think that the CEO at your job that pays your check is a totally moral person? So then shut up to me when y'all tell me about what all these people did and y'all believing in this person, talking about this person, and y'all, man, miss me with all of that, man. All of y'all a bunch of freaking hypocrites and idiots to me. Don't ever say nothing. Like, I can't take it, bro. Like we can talk about Kamala too, because I'm gonna let y'all talk, man. Go ahead. This is why I'm getting
involved. Andre loves you when you crash out. So that's
I know you do. I be trying not to do it. He be provoking. I know he be lining me up to do it too. So he be lining me up.
Yeah, he be setting you up.
Well, if you think that was something, wait until we come back from our commercial break in a couple minutes. But go ahead, Sean.
But nah, the crazy thing is, the people that's throwing dirt, on names like Malcolm, like Martin, and whatnot. Those are the same people that's got excuses for the current president, right? For the that was a long time ago or whatever. They got excuses for this guy, but they got all the dirt in the world to throw on Malcolm, Martin, and and these people that really did do something, for
and can't defend themselves.
Right.
Yeah, they can't defend themselves.
Exactly.
Half of the people would have said nothing if they had to look them in the face. They wouldn't say none of the stuff they be saying. They can't look them if you could had to look them in the face.
Of course not. I mean, heck, we probably got people that's gonna put comments under this video that's not gonna say it. If they ran into us on the street. So
yeah, okay,
that's what it is, though.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
There's people watching.
Yeah, let me not even. You're right. It's not. It is what it is.
No, but you both have a valid point, man. And even Donald Trump is doing the most. This guy said before he ran for president the first time, he said on a hot mic, you could grab them by the pussy. And they still voted for him. Now, if Barack Obama would have said that, they would have used that in every campaign. If he would have thought about it, you know what I'm saying? Trump said that he could shoot somebody on 6th Avenue and they still vote for him. He can, literally. Congress has...
He was right.
Yeah, it's like Congress made a bill where he's like, Trump can do anything he wants to do, and the government will basically excuse what he's doing because it's business related. That's the terminology they're using. So if he decides to go kill somebody and he says it's for the good of the country, then he won't face any charges. He can literally do that. Literally.
Yeah, he can. He can. And the only reason why I feel like Obama couldn't do that and Kamala wouldn't have been able to do that if she was president is because they already know what time it is in this country. Okay, we can't ignore racism. You know what I mean? But I don't think we should allow it to stop our progress either. So at the end of the day, if Kamala was president, I'm gonna quickly answer this question. I think that if Kamala was president, she probably would no longer be here. Or we would still be at war. It's just we would probably.
So you think that Kamala would have took us to war? Trump started this war because you know that.
No, we would.
Huh? I'm sorry.
I didn't say she would. I said we would have been at war. I didn't say she would have took us there. I think that people would have stepped to us in a different way.
Just because we had a woman as the president.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think that she would have done.
Just because we had a woman as a president, or because we would have had Kamala as a president.
I think because if we would have had Kamala as president, I don't think they would have tried us that hard if it was somebody else. But I don't think that people would have
Nah.
viewed her as a threat. I think that people see Trump as a wild card. Like, he's the guy that you don't bring to a party because you're like, we might leave in handcuffs because this guy's liable to do anything. Or he's probably going to start a fight. You know, that friend that you be like, yo, this guy don't know how to control his mouth. Like, we going to probably get in a fight if he come. We not bringing him. Or
Yeah, you
or
talking
you tell
about?
the bartender in the beginning, like, don't let him drink. That's how he goes. So I think that I think these other countries realize, like, you know, that he can rile up the troops and rile up people to want to fight. I don't think that Kamala would have been able to have people, you know, because you got to remember, we all know, like, I mean, we all know that. All right, I not to go too deep, but it is my belief, okay, that Trump is somewhat of a face. He's not just doing the things that he has in his own brain. Okay, there's a group of people that's making these decisions along with him, or whatever the case, right? But what I'm saying is that his real job, he's the commander in chief. He's the guy who's supposed to get the military, when it's time, ready. Like, he has to be the one to, like, they have to be willing to fight for him. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he's the leader. Your troops have to be willing to fight for you. If your troops are not willing to fight for you, then you're not gonna have nobody fighting. So I don't think Kamala would have been able to do that. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, what do you think would have Hillary Clinton, because she tried to run too. You think they would have tried to try her?
Yeah, we probably would have still been at war if it was her. I think she would have took us to war.
Okay.
I think she would have took us to war. I don't think. But I still think it wouldn't have worked out. But go ahead, Sean.
I think Hillary was a gangster in these streets. I think, you know,
I do too.
the global streets, I don't think they wouldn't have wanted to mess with her. Going back to what you said about people not wanting to try Trump because he's a wild card or whatever, I only partially believe that. I've heard people say that before. I don't wholly believe that. I think that the majority of it is, I think it's parts to it, right? I think it's a small portion of that, a small portion. But this war that we're in now is making them, like, you know, think like, all right, you know what, we was playing ourselves. We could have went at them. But but you have that. You also have a large portion of people that just follow the money. Period. Like, people just follow the money. They don't. They like don't even like the guy, but because he's got the money, or the connections to the money, then they're gonna do. You know, they're gonna shake hands with him. They're gonna walk into the bar with him, just because of that. So I don't think that is all of, you know, them, like, just not wanting to ruffle his feathers because, you know, they don't know what he's gonna do or whatever. I mean, because look, we saw, like, he's just all about money. So you know, he got mad. So he's like, all right, we're gonna cut you off, or we're gonna add on tariffs or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't. It's. I mean,
right.
It's been said, and I believe that we're only in this war mainly because, one, because you know, our guy is stupid, but two, you know, is because Netanyahu is the one that, you know, was like, yo, you got to do this.
I was going to say to you that, you know, just to keep it in context, because I was trying not to go so deep with it, but I don't think that other world leaders are scared of Trump. What I'm saying is, they know that he's willing to, like, because I don't look at him as a decision maker. Okay, this is me. I know I'm not the political. I know all of y'all still, you know, some of the listeners are still in the bubble and believing all whatever they all believe.
Which is usually a president. President is usually not the main shot caller.
Exactly. So I'm saying that what he is, though, is he's a motivational speaker. He is the person who can rile up the country that will make them accept what's happening, right? And so when we go to war, he can make the country accept the fact that we're at war so that there's not protests within the country like there was in Vietnam and times like that, where, you know, the country was like, why are we doing this? Even though there's people who do that now, there's no one, I don't see anyone that's like heavily protesting the war, rallies and things like that, like the way that it was before. I think that he could rock people to sleep a lot better than Kamala could have. I don't think she would have been able, I think Hillary would have been able to do that more than her. You know what I mean? But when it comes to going to war and like the stuff that they already had on schedule to do, they already knew what they wanted to do. There's interest that's going on in the world, so that we don't all know about. We just looking at what's happening in this country. Most people are just looking at what's happening in this country, but there's other things happening. So I'm like, she wouldn't have been able to, I don't think she would have been able to politically move in certain rooms to get things done or to get people on board the way that he would be able to. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Hillary wouldn't have been able to do that as well as he would have been able to either. But I think she would have been able to do it better than Kamala. Or Kamala, how do you pronounce her name? I forgot. I want to do it right. But yeah.
It's
Kamala.
yeah, Kamala, yeah.
Kamala.
Why do you think that she wouldn't be able to?
She doesn't strike me when I hear her speak. Her presence does not command attention to me. She was
only vice president. Huh? She was only when Biden was vice president. When Biden was vice president, what commanding things did you hear from him? When Al Gore was, vice president, when
I don't think
the vice president. They're not really. The vice presidents are not that. They not out there like that.
That's because we know that the vice presidents are chosen politically. But a vice president has to be ready to do what the president does if the president can no longer do it. So I'm saying she was on the ticket to get the black vote, bro. We know this already. Okay, she was on the ticket to get the black vote and to get the female vote. That's why she was on the ticket. Now, I'm not taking nothing away from her. You know what I mean? Like, this is nothing like personal against her. I'm just talking about like, as far as like optics and how she looks to me, like, as far as being a leader. I don't, if I walk into a room and I see her, when she's speaking, she doesn't, to me, I just don't see her commanding an army, bro. I don't see her she doesn't,
is Trump commanding an army? We're at war right now. Is he commanding? You think that those cats are gung ho for Trump, or they just got to do their job because they have no choice?
No. But what I mean is, when you're talking about being a motivator, okay? When you talk about being a motivator, I think President Obama was a good motivator, right? I think that
he's a good speaker.
That's what I'm saying. He's a good motivator. Whether I like what he's saying or not, Trump is a good motivator. He knows, you know what I'm saying? So Kamala, to me, she may do it for other people. This is just for me. She does not motivate me when she speaks, only because I don't really believe I don't believe her when she's saying what she's saying to me. Like, when I hear her speak, it's kind of like I'm listening to a politician speak. It doesn't feel like I'm listening to someone who's like really believes what they're saying. That's how I felt about Hillary Clinton as well. It didn't sound to me like she believes what she's saying. And I'm not just picking on like females, I'm just using them as examples, but there are plenty of men like Biden. He doesn't, I don't believe what he's saying when
What
he's
you're
saying it. It's
saying
not, you know what I'm
is,
saying?
what you're saying, you are naming politicians that are politicking, right?
Mm-mm.
And which is what a lot of people voted for your guy the first time for, because they were like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, he's not a politician, you know, he's gonna go in there and drain the swamp and blah blah blah, yada yada, right? You know, but
Uh-huh.
outside of that, everybody's a politician. That's it. You know, that's it. That's what they do. So like you're
Mm-hmm.
seeing through the BS, but they've always, from before we was born, always feeding the people the BS. And
I know.
sometimes they were feeding the people the BS because of what you said Will Smith said. Because the people
They
can't
can't
handle the
handle the
truth.
truth. I believe that.
Right? So they, you know,
But that's my point.
so half the time they have to politic it.
Yes, but that's my point to you. It's dangerous to put somebody in that position who cannot politic properly. If I don't believe what you say, like I know, like Andre said, Trump lies, right? This guy lies. But what I'm saying is that you can, and you know, all due respect, I don't think everything that President Obama said was the truth. Okay, I think that he did the whole
No,
the MIB thing, but right, to protect the people from a
you have
panic.
to.
That's what they supposed to. You
You
have to
have
manage
to.
that, right? Right. So what I'm saying is, I don't I don't believe that. Okay, so for example, President Obama, to me, if somebody hits him with a question, he knows exactly how to rebuttal that, right? He's talking to the clip, for example, the clip where he's giving his speech and people are in the crowd and they're heckling him in the crowd, and he stops what he's saying and he addresses them. He does that with
Yep.
all,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? Like that was
Grace.
flawless how he
Grace.
handled that, right?
Yep.
Very
For
grace,
sure.
exactly, grace. So what I'm saying, right, is that if Kamala was in that same situation or Hillary was in that same situation, I don't think they would handle it that way. Now, Trump, I think he would handle it. He wouldn't handle it with necessarily with grace, right? But he would still handle it. He's the type of person that would say, you catch him in a deadbolt lie, and he'll look at you dead in your face and be like, so what? Moving on and keep going. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he'll do something crazy like that, or not even address you. He'll just be like, listen, get this guy out of here. We don't have time to hear the nonsense. Get them out of here, and he'll move on. But what I'm saying is that at least he's handling himself in a way that commands, like, he's handling it in an authoritative way. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to, in my opinion, I think you have to be able to do that, you know, in order to navigate that job. How else are you going to do it? You can't, everybody's not going to be.
Well,
Hmm?
Don J became president. I Kamala never became president, neither did Hillary. So we really
Right.
can't say what, you know, like
Yeah,
if
speculation.
Don J was, yeah, it's all speculatory. But you know, if Don
Mm-hmm.
J, you know, was vice president, you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't get out of him or hear as much of him, you know, as we do now. You know, as the commander in chief. So you might be wondering if he was put in that room, how he would handle it, because you never seen him put in that room. He was vice president. So my
Okay.
point for saying that though is uh you know, saying, you know, that Kamala wouldn't be able to handle it um is tough for me because I've never seen her put in that position.
Yeah, but
Right?
she did run for president.
She ran for president. Yeah, I mean, there was let's see, what you call it? Bernie Sanders ran for president
And I
as
believe Bernie
well,
Sanders, but I
and
don't believe that Bernie Sanders can command. I believe Bernie Sanders when he speaks, but that's part of the reason Bernie Sanders lost, because Bernie Sanders, the way his demeanor was, seemed a lot more peaceful, right? It seemed a lot more like kumbaya with how he, was presenting himself, which is a great thing for the country. But when but you still have to show the side. It's like this, okay? It's like this. If I'm gonna follow somebody through the jungle, if I'm going through a safari, right, and I'm going to follow, and I got a safari guide that's guiding us through the jungle on the safari, the first thing I'm looking for, when I see him in the thing and I'm seeing him, petting gazelles and whatever the case, he's cool with all the animals. He knows the lay of the land. That's all well and fine. He can walk peacefully through there. He goes through there. He's there on a regular basis. He can camp out there. He's by himself, no problem. That's great. That qualifies you to be a guy. But my G, where's your rifle at? Because if one of these lions get out of pocket, I need to know you're gonna blow his head clean on the grass, bro. I don't need you not cool lion no lion with
he
me
can
in the
have the
truck.
rifle. He can have the rifle and accidentally shoot your buddy because he's too scared when it goes down. Because the fact that he has the rifle still tells me nothing. His demeanor.
Right,
his demeanor tells me
ready
everything.
to use it. Right. Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. His demeanor tells me everything. Like you said, he's walking. If he's calm or whatever, he's calm. He's gonna make the people calm because he's showing that leadership. Qualities like you said. But I know we gotta go to break.
Yeah. Well, we gotta go to break. I'll leave. I'll wait till we come back at the break.
Yeah. So we'll be right back with more Politics Unfiltered.
Are you looking for dependable, compassionate care for yourself or someone you love? Let me tell you about Roses at Heart Home Care LLC, where the mission is simple, care that comes to you. Roses at Heart Home Care provides non-medical home care services designed to help individuals feel better, safer, and more supported right in the comfort of their own home. Whether your loved one needs help daily or weekly because of aging, illness, recovery, or rehabilitation, Roses at Heart Home Care offers individualized care. You can trust their services include meal preparation, bathing, dressing, toileting, grooming, light housekeeping, laundry, linen, sitting, medication assistance, and transportation to doctor appointments with advance notice. And listen, this is more than just a service. Roses believes everyone deserves a helping hand, and their goal is to provide loving, trusting, quality care for your family. They proudly serve Tate County, DeSoto County, Lafayette County, and Panola County, and they accept Medicaid veterans and private pay clients. Call 662-1584-35 today. That's 662-1584-35. Roses at Heart Home Care LLC, compassionate care right at home.
And we're back with more Politics Unfiltered right here on the Undisputed Network.
Yes. I just
So
want to say, take care of your seniors. Take care of your seniors, people.
yes.
Definitely.
So I wanted to get into voting, right? You and I, JD, we I guess hopefully we won't forever disagree on this, but for right now we disagree on this whole voting thing. I believe that it's important to vote. I believe that many men and women have died for us to be able to vote. And I just feel like it is our duty, to vote. So a couple years ago, I did a video when I was exclusively on TikTok featuring Joy Taylor. I don't know if you know Joy Taylor. She's up on ESPN. But I just want to play this sound for you, and then I want to get your you and Sean's feedback on what she had to say. All right. So let me play this for y'all and let y'all hear what she had to say.
All right.
You, just little old pointless, useless you can go vote. And you're going to say, oh, it's not my thing. Voting is not my thing. Okay, voting's not your thing. Well, then complaining about what's happening in this country, complaining about things that are happening in your city, complaining about how crime is handled in your city, complaining about how taxes are distributed in this city, complaining about affordable housing in your city. You don't get to do that. You stay silent, boo-boo, because you didn't participate.
Yep.
And whoever convinced you that not voting is cool is a fucking weirdo.
A lot of them out there.
I don't need convinced to vote. I think it is insane that we have to spend money on campaigns to convince people to vote. Why would you not vote? Why would you not vote? You don't even have to leave your house. You can literally mail in vote. But it is even if that is an errand that you have to do, why would you not participate in that? My brain cannot compute how you live in a free country, right? You have the right to vote, which people literally died to give you. And you're like, nah, I'm not, it's not my thing. None of these politicians have won my vote. Well, okay, fine. You don't want to participate in the presidential election because that's like your thing. That's a flex. What about some of these other things that are on the ballot? Let's see. What do we got? We have county measures, state measures, judges, district attorney, propositions, things that will affect your everyday life in the city in which you live, in the state in which you live, how the state and the city uses your tax dollars. You don't want to have a say in any of that. That's not for you. That's not your thing.
Well, for the people that... Your thoughts?
You want me to go first?
Whoever.
I'll go first.
Yeah, please.
Nah, it's a conversation that we hear a lot, right? I personally see both sides of it. Definitely, as you mentioned, Andre, we've had people go through the ringer, including lose their lives, while they were trying to fight for the right to vote.
Yeah.
And then, but on the flip side of that, so they, even honoring them, they fought for the choice is what I believe. I believe they fought for the choice. Like if we weren't at the time, we weren't given the choice, and they were fighting for the choice, that option, and so some people just choose not to, and it's hard for me to argue with those people, to right out argue with them, only because of the blatant corruptness that we see throughout our country on such a high level, in office level, and we don't even have to take it all the way to DC, right? We just locally in our in our counties and states and whatever, like we the taxes is taken out, and then we lose a hubcap, from the pothole on the road that's been there, from when we grew up. And like, yo, what, like my taxes, this guy taxes, my neighbor's taxes, and nobody could fix this pothole.
Right.
Like what was the purpose, of me even going to the booth and filling out the stuff. So it's hard for me to argue with those people, because I definitely see their point. Me, matter of fact, I'm gonna hold it there and I'm gonna come back to the rest of my thought. What do you guys think?
I'll try to contain this. First of all, I can't stand, what irks me is when people say your ancestors died for the right to vote. That is false. Okay, they did not die for us to be able to vote. They died and fought for us to have justice and equality. Okay, and the way that looked for them at the time was to be able to have the right to vote, because they would be able to change legislation, okay, to change the rules and change the laws. That was the chain of events that they were hoping would take place. What continued to happen is that every single time they fought for something and they got a victory, the goalposts moved. Okay. So, and that's all documented as well. We see where the goalpost continues to move even to this day. So when we say and simplify the reason for their death, I think that's way more disrespectful than somebody who doesn't want to vote. Okay. It's way more disrespectful for you to minimize their fight and what they were actually fighting for and say, well, they did all that and now we can vote. So all the other injustices, well, we're just only going to fix that with voting. That's one. My second point is with what she said is that she said, well, if you don't vote, then you shouldn't complain about what's going on. I agree with that, because you didn't participate. I agree with that to a certain degree. But here's the thing. Let's use the pothole example that Sean just gave, right? Because this is what I've done this myself. Now, I do believe in voting. I believe in the choice and the right to vote, okay? And but let's take the pothole example. So if I don't go to the local legislation, if I don't vote in a local election, right, and there's potholes in my thing, or I voted for the last 4 years, and that same pothole is still there. I got 3-4 people I know of that hit that pothole, didn't get no money yet, right? So now when the 5th year comes around and they say, oh, let's vote, and I decide to step out of that, all right, but I decide to go get concrete. I decide to go get 2 friends that has the proper equipment, and I decide to fill that pothole myself. Excuse me, or at least I buy a cone, okay, with my own money, and I go sit that cone in the middle of that pothole so that nobody else hits that pothole. Then old girl needs to shut her trap and don't tell me I don't have a say, because I did way more than you did by voting for the last 4 years. I actually did something about it. So when we talk about people who don't want to do anything at all, then you can say that they didn't participate. But don't tell me because I don't vote that I did not participate in the things that's going on, because there's a lot of people who participate. All right. All of those people who I can vote for legislation that will help the homeless in New York City, or wherever I live, right? But that's where I was most of my life. So if I vote and I still keep seeing homeless people, and then I decide to go buy food and feed those people, or I decide to take a few of those people myself to lunch, or buy them a hotel room so they can get a shower and some clothes, or whatever the case is. I guess y'all get the point of what I'm trying to say, right? Yeah. Is that if you yourself make a difference in what is going on in the thing that you were voting about, don't tell me if I'm doing something that's making the country better, you might not see it on a wide scale, but why am I waiting for legislation to pass before I do something? Is that the only fight we have? Because if we were waiting for legislation all this time, then we wouldn't even have the right to vote. So what is she talking about? We changed the country more than when we didn't have the right to vote. We was changing this country. So don't tell me that I can't say anything or complain about what's going on. Now, mind you, no, you're right. I don't want to vote so I can have the right to complain. I don't need the vote. I don't need to vote because I have the actual ability to do something about what's wrong. So
how do you feel about other people voting?
I don't have no problem with them voting. I vote myself. I just don't. There have been times that I didn't. You know what I'm saying? But don't tell me that I have to, especially when I have to. You're gonna tell me I gotta choose. Because people get mad when you be like, "Well, I have to choose the lesser of two evils." What are you talking about? Why do I have to choose evil at all? Why do I have to choose evil at all? And if I really feel that bad about it, then I'll just run for whatever the office is, because that's the natural progression. The natural progression is, if I see God, I have walked my own block, bro. I have walked my own block with a garbage bag and one of those little pick things, and I picked up the trash out of, or I would ring my neighbor's doorbell and say, do you mind if I pick up the trash around your yard? Most of them are going to be like, yeah. Nobody who I talked to had a problem with it. And I picked up all the trash. No, I had community service. I took it upon myself. Because I was, you know why? I was mad. I was mad because the garbage guys, the garbage trucks kept leaving the trash. They would like halfway throw the garbage in and all the trash would just blow all over the street. And I got tired of it. So I spoke to them. I would give them tips out of my own pockets. Okay. These are the things, that's what politics is. That's what your assembly person is supposed to be doing. That's what the Congress, that's what they do. That's what they're supposed to do. They are supposed to make sure that these things that the citizens need are taken care of. So don't tell me that I can't talk about what the problems are. No, I don't agree with complaining. I don't think you should complain if you vote. If you vote just to have the right to complain, to me, you're worse than the person who don't vote. Do something about it. Don't just sit there and wait for a politician to make the change. Make the change.
Let me.
That's how I feel about voting.
Let me deviate just a little bit. And just ask you, and this, Jay, why do you think it's so? Why do you think they remove the right to vote from people when they're like, in certain states when they're convicted as a felon? They take away their right to vote.
Well, I believe they take away their right to vote as a felon because they've committed crimes, and depending on what I guess whatever they did.
And you can still drive a car.
Well, you know what?
You can still buy alcohol, cigarettes.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Before I answer that, we had a comment. Diane Gavon said that she agrees with you, JD, and yeah, she's not choosing evil. So Donald Trump is a convicted felon and he still won the presidency. Make that make sense.
It don't. I can't.
You can't even get a job at McDonald's, if you're a convicted felon, even though they may say that they'll give you a second chance. They most likely won't. They're going to look at you, size you up, and be like, nah.
I can make it make sense. I can make it make sense to somebody who has some level of intelligence. It was a control tactic. Okay, it's a control tactic. All right, they get to if you can stop people from voting, right? You can't. Like I said, that's a goalpost move. All right, it's a goalpost move. It's the same kind of move that happened when slavery was abolished. Okay, and then they didn't give those 40 acres and a mule that we were supposed to get. Right. And then you tell people it's illegal to not have a home. Literally, it's illegal to not have a place of residence, but you don't give anyone a way to have a place of residence. So what you do is you pack a bunch of people in a ghetto situation, put them in a bad situation of poverty. And this is not just for Black people, even though it was probably aimed towards us, first to keep control of the free slaves. There was nowhere for them to send us back to. There was no ICE. You know what I mean? You can't round us up and deport us because there's no place to deport us to. We were stolen.
They brought us over here. They didn't keep the receipt. Right. For sure.
Right. Or there's a group of people who believe we were already here. That's fine too, but there's still nowhere to deport us because we belong here, right? Even if that's the case. Right. So you don't know what to do with us, so you have to try to keep us contained. And that's what's been happening since day one, and it's still happening now. So that's what happened. And the only way that it was like, okay, fine, we got to give them something because they won't stop fighting, and we can't keep them under control. There's too many riots going on. Nobody was sitting there casting votes. People were actually fighting it. Back to the Martin and the Malcolm conversation and all of the civil rights and all the stuff that was being fought. They had to contain that within the country because it weakens the country. When the country's fighting internally, it weakens the country. and it makes us vulnerable to outside attack. So they had to keep that under control some kind of way. So yes, you're going to say, okay, if you commit a crime, now you can't vote. How do we keep them from voting? Because that's a problem. So now, cool. Now we just put them in a situation that we can automatically know that is a recipe for crime. You know what I'm saying? And then whenever they commit a crime, we'll just take their right to vote. And we'll just continue the cycle and find other reasons for them to not be able to vote. Period. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And until
I mean,
voting no longer matters. Let me rephrase that so everybody don't get into a hissy fit. Voting does not hold the same power that it used to. Okay? So now it doesn't matter.
So
they don't have to necessarily even do that anymore. That's why people getting pardoned all day.
Do you believe all day? Unless you're Bootsy. but do you believe that do you believe that voting that voting has power? Do you believe that there is power in voting? Okay.
If it's done, yes, there is power in voting. Obviously, yes, there's power in voting. But voting alone, there is no power in voting alone. The vote has to be enforced by something. If we vote, here's the thing: nobody's going to do anything without consequences, right? So it's just like, take your children. You've seen families, right, where all the kids get are threats, verbal threats. I'm gonna spank your butt if you do this. You're gonna be on punishment if you keep doing this. But nothing is ever enforced. And then you have a household where you tell the child, you give them a warning, and after that warning, they're on punishment. And then the next time, all they need is a warning because they know that there's something that's going to actually happen. They know what's going to happen if they don't follow the rules. For us in this country, it's the same thing. It's like you can vote and say we want this person, but then the Electoral College says we don't care what y'all want. We want this person, and we don't have to give you any explanation, and you don't even know who we are. So how's that? Enjoy.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So and who's enforcing? Who's enforcing that? Who's the person that says I don't care? We all say that we want this person, even though you have the right to veto what we want. We still want it. And what happens? Where's all the riots then? Where's all the protests then? You understand? But most people don't even know about the Electoral College, and most people don't know when this happens that who's going to appeal the decision from the Electoral College. No one. I've never heard of it. Maybe it's happened, but I've never heard of it. So as people, what power do we really, please explain to me what power we really have. I'll wait.
No. For real though, I think that, to answer my own question, I do think voting has power, but a limited amount of power. Matter of fact, a lowercase p power type of thing, right? That's, in my opinion. And I mean, because I'm only reason I came on this show is because I thought we was talking about voting for, to get the HOA people out, because I'm trying to vote to get them.
Oh yeah, I'll never be in the HOA. I'll never be in the HOA. That is extortion on the highest level, bro.
I thought that's what we were talking about today.
They might as well bring John Gotti back.
Right. But really though, I do think that there is there is some power in voting, but I think it's a lowercase p for sure. And for certain, like you said, going back to the potholes in my lawn example, like I'm gonna cast a vote, and then but I'm also doing stuff, right? And I'm casting a vote for somebody who is gonna do stuff, like you're hoping for that, what Mom Donnie appears to be, you want somebody that's boots on the ground, that is going to come out there, see there's a pothole out here, and and do something about it.
Yeah,
absolutely. I honestly, I feel like that's the reason why this is where politicians or these leaders are really born from. It starts with somebody saying, I'm tired of seeing this in my neighborhood and I'm going to do something
Yeah,
about it.
right.
And,
Exactly.
and I believe
Exactly.
that as they continue to actually do stuff, on the side, there's somebody else who's saying, hey, vote for me, put me in office, and then I'll clean up your streets and I'll make sure that the
Right.
garbage people clean, I'll
Right.
make sure the potholes. But I'm like, but my God, why am I really waiting for you? How are you doing that? Okay, how about this? How about
Exactly.
I just get concrete and fill the freaking pothole? And then if you fill enough potholes, then everybody in the neighborhood is gonna be like, yo, Sean keeps filling all the potholes. Why don't you just run for office? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
then you can get elected because you're actually getting it done. And then you can have a city budget, hopefully, or a town budget or whatever it is to actually do the job that you're supposed to be doing. And
Then
I didn't
exactly.
even,
Yes.
because this is Politics Unfiltered, I didn't even get started when we was talking about the homeless people, because I'm like, at the end of the day, this is the thing that the church is supposed to be doing. And why are we talking about why are people in the church telling you who to vote for when y'all should be the ones out there
Oh,
filling the daggone
yeah.
potholes and
Yeah.
helping people in the neighborhood. Yeah, you know what I'm
Why the
saying? It's
church?
like,
Why the
yo,
church telling? Why is the church telling me who to vote for? Why is that even happening?
yo, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
listen. So to me, I'm a be about it person. I'm a be about it person. So don't. I love it when all these people who have all this vibrato, all this energy, like Shorty was talking about on the show. You know, the clip that Dre played, and she got all this energy.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can't vote. Okay, miss, what exactly you vote for and what have you done in the community? Like, what have you done? Forget the community. What have you done on your street? What does your street look like, fam? You know what I'm saying? Like, if
Right.
the garbage if people leaving garbage you live in a building and people leaving garbage in your building, do you walk by with some gloves and pick up the garbage? You know what I'm saying? If
Right.
somebody leave a bag of garbage, people leave garbage right next to the dumpster. I mean, like, what they gotta do is put it in there, but they'll leave it right there. When you come by, do you take some gloves and put it in there? Or do you just complain about
Right.
the management in the building? So to me,
Right.
don't tell me about rallying people to vote for a new building manager when you ain't even pick up no garbage yourself. If you really care about your building, it sounds to me like y'all are the complainers. It sounds to me like those people are the ones who just want to complain and then and like get somebody else to do the job. Come on, bro.
I mean, it's difficult, man. It really is difficult, and like Diane said, you vote and just hope that the people going to do their job, and if they don't, like
Right.
what I'm saying, if they bamboozle you, like you now stuck with them for X amount of time, and it's just it's whack, B. It's whack. That's all I'm
It
saying.
is.
It's not cool.
It is. But look, at the end of the day, some people, everybody has a role, right? So that's like me saying, let me fall back a little bit. So after what I just said, right? That is a job for some people. Some people have the passion to be able to do that. Some people can see a pothole and be able to fill it or
Yeah.
facilitate it
Yeah.
getting filled, right? There's
Right.
other people
Right.
who just don't have that. That's not them. We are all different people and we all have different roles. So what I'm saying is, if I vote, cool. I have the right to vote if I want to. I also have the right not to vote if I don't want to. So if I don't vote, all these voters, people who are pro voting, that's cool. Go vote. But leave me alone. If I don't vote, leave me alone. Okay? Because I'm not all in your face because you're not filling potholes. You don't know what I'm doing. I might
Here's
be out here filling potholes.
here's a question I'm gonna pose to, and Dre,
Mhm.
you can answer this first.
All right.
But who's more dangerous? The person that doesn't vote at all, or the person that goes in and don't do any research on voting? And shout out to the comment there, because
Hmm.
that's what made me just think of that question, because
Facts.
thank you, Kathy.
Facts.
But you just going in there and you're just scribbling and not even knowing who you're really voting for, and what
Yeah.
they're about, or you just don't vote at all. Which is more, in your opinion, which is more dangerous?
Well, I'm gonna give you an example. Um, Brett Kavanaugh. Okay, Brett Kavanaugh was put in the Supreme Court. This guy had a lot of allegations of sexual misconduct in college and all the whole bunch of
A lot,
foolishness,
yep,
right?
a lot of stuff.
I'm
Yep.
sure there was somebody that said, all right, let me just go vote. They don't know nothing about Brett Kavanaugh, but they
Mm,
just checked his name off just to say that they
Mm-hmm.
did it. They had no idea what he did, who he was, and they helped him to get in there. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, somebody that does not do research is more dangerous than someone that doesn't vote at all, even though I think they're both still dangerous because
Mm-hmm.
a vote, not voting at all,
yeah,
say
it's a
when you
vote
talk
for the other
about
guy.
is a vote for
Yeah,
the other guy. When you
yeah,
talk about let me just pick the lesser of two evils, or I'm just not gonna
yeah.
vote at all, then you're gonna give a vote because all the people that did not vote for Kamala Harris, if they would have got up and went and voted, possibly she would have won. I believe that.
Can I ask you something, Trey?
hmm
Well, you and Sean, and as it goes to that, how a person who doesn't vote, they say a person that doesn't vote is a vote for the other guy. Wouldn't that apply to both sides? So how is it a vote for the other guy? Because they didn't vote for the other guy either. It's just not a vote for.
Well,
It's a vote for no one. Is you know what I'm saying? It's not
well,
like it because. And let me say this. I'm
mhm,
saying that because when it comes to Kamala and Trump, right? A lot of
mhm.
people who voted for her didn't want her either. They just didn't want him. So to me, you're voting for someone. Okay, you're not really voting for someone. You're just voting against someone. Isn't that dangerous too?
See, this is my thing, right? And Diane Gavin said she did win. They cheated. Um,
I believe that too. I actually do believe that. But go ahead.
yeah. This is my thing, right? Okay. If a majority of the people that are following politics and they know that Donald Trump is not good for the economy, that he would have not been good for us, and now we're in the future and you see where we're at, you see what he's doing. So a lot of people are having remorse. There were a lot of Mexicans that voted for him, and the same Mexicans that voted for him, has ICE agents rounding them up, breaking into their house and ripping families apart. The same people. So, but what I'm saying is the ones that did not vote, there's some people that say I'm not voting at all. But if they would have at
Mhm.
least said, let me just vote for Harris because I feel like Harris is going to be a better pick than Trump, then maybe we would not be in this situation. But then again, as Diane
But
said, they cheated, which they did.
no,
Eh,
but I'm asking you, Dre, who if okay, so who's more dangerous in that situation? The person you mentioned, like there were Mexican people who voted for Trump, right? And those same people got deported. So my question to you is, who was more dangerous? The person who voted for Trump or the person who said, I'm not voting for Trump? I'm not voting at all.
Here's the thing. If you got and I'm sorry, I was trying to think of a better analogy, so
uh,
I apologize ahead of
Uh,
time. But if you
mhm,
got a gang of people, on the left and the right, get ready to fight, right? So you got a
mhm,
mob over here. The people that didn't show up to this mob on
mhm,
this side over here, like
mhm.
it really just makes this side over here look stronger because they did show up. They showed up, and now you got five over here, you got three over here, so they gonna win. I don't even know if that even makes sense, but it made
No, it
sense in my
does.
head. The okay,
It does.
and that's how I see it when I say that the person that didn't vote just kind of makes the other side stronger, which is why I say
But
just vote
again,
for the other guy.
right. But again, we are looking through the glasses of the loser. Okay. We're doing this from the perspective of the person who did not get
Right.
the win. So when that's
Right.
a great example that you use, because if you got two crowds on both sides, right, and they're about to fight, and then you have a small group of people on the side who say, I don't even agree with what y'all are fighting about. I don't agree with this fight to begin with. Okay, so whatever it is y'all fighting about, I don't think we should be fighting to begin with. So I'm not even going to pick a side on this fight. I don't agree with the fight. All right. Does
But the
that
fight is going to
person
go down
who,
regardless.
I know it is, but if I have my own morals and I'm my own person and I have a brain that thinks for itself and I don't just follow the crowd, okay? Because what would make me pick a side is the thought that, well, if I choose this side or if I don't choose this side and they win, then they're going to be mad at me. If I don't choose this side and they win, then they're going to be mad at me. But so either way I lose, right? And with that sort of thinking. But what I can say is I don't agree with either one of y'all fighting, but whoever wins this fight, if y'all turn towards me, I'm gonna blow your head off.
Mhm.
Okay, so leave me alone because I don't have no parts of this. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say is like you when you look at it, you're saying if they would have voted for Kamala, then she would have won. But what if they didn't like Kamala? Don't they have the right to not like Kamala? But I guarantee you wouldn't have wanted them to vote for Trump. So if they were saying, I'm not going to vote at all, but if I do vote, I'm voting for Trump, would you rather them vote or not vote at all? I'll wait.
Well, you know what? Based on what has transpired, based on where we're living in right now, I voted for Kamala. Okay, I'm gonna just say it. I voted for
Right? I
her.
did.
Okay, so and if I could go back in time, I still would have voted for her based on what we're getting right now. So I feel like the person that does not vote though is more dangerous than the one that just says I'm just gonna vote for Trump because
Well, you
not
said the one,
voting at the
go say it again.
one that does not vote at all, I
Mm-hmm.
believe is more dangerous than someone that at least says, let me just make the vote. So at least if they would have said, okay, we know Trump is probably the worst pick, but let me just vote for Harris. Even if I feel like she's a woman, she's a black woman. I don't know if a woman can do this. I don't know this, that, blah, blah, blah. Let me just vote
Mm-hmm.
for her because I feel like she will do a better job. We know she's more qualified than Trump. Trump is a reality TV star person. You know what I'm saying? I never had a problem with Trump before all the politics. I knew Trump from Home Alone, and then I knew Trump from The Apprentice. Now some of us know that Donald Trump put an ad out, to call for the execution of the Central Park Five. Trump did that back then, and you
Yep.
know what I'm saying. So he was always on that stuff.
So you're telling me that you would be okay with that person saying, I don't really agree with any of them, but I'm gonna just go ahead and vote for Trump just so I can vote, just so I can cast a vote. You would rather them do that than not vote at all. That's what
No,
you're saying.
I would rather them vote for the other person than Trump. Okay, if you have
No,
two
no, no. But
people,
but
if
that's what
you
I'm saying. That's not fair. You got you. That's only because you don't like Trump. But that's a personal thing. Okay. But there are millions of people out there that don't agree with you. So, but you still want them to vote. You're not calling everybody to vote for the person you want them to vote for. You're just calling them to vote, period. And everybody who says that is hoping that the person is voting for the person they want to win. But what I'm saying is that which person would you rather a person just cast a vote just to say that they casted a vote, even if that person votes for the opposite person that you want to win? I'm just trying to understand
well, I'm gonna
where's
say
the importance
this.
here, and I'm asking all you guys, all the
That
viewers too. Thank you, Diane. Shout out to you for your comments. But I just want to know what you guys feel. Do
that's what
y'all
I'm
want
that's what
people
I'm saying.
just to
I'm
vote?
saying
Okay.
I would rather a blind voter than a non-voter.
Why? I'm
So
asking why. I just want to know why.
be, because there's a 50-50 shot that that you voted on, favorable to how I voted. There's a
Yeah, but it
chance.
still doesn't. But it doesn't
There's
hurt
no
your
chance. If
vote.
you don't go in the booth at all, there's zero chance that you're going to be on my side. So that so if you don't show up at all, if you stay at home and we about to mob out and you don't show up at all, and now there's only 3 of us and there's 20 of them, like at least like even if you came out and then you swung a bat and accidentally hit me in the shoulder, like at least you
Mhm.
came out and we showed strength in the numbers.
Okay, okay, that's what I was waiting to hear. The strength in the numbers. Why is the strength in the numbers important?
Well, in theory, the strength the strength in the numbers are important in the voting world, because it in theory, because it should sway it, in that sway the final decision in that direction of the popular vote.
Okay, now my question to y'all, right, was originally how. This is why I'm trying to get to something. So I want to understand the math, how this math makes sense. If there are, let's just take small numbers. If there are 10 voters, there are 10 people to vote, 2 candidates, 10 voters, okay? Potential voters, right? Let's say 6 of those people say that they're going to vote. 4 of those people said, I'm not voting. All right. You're left with 6 people to make that vote. How does the 4 people in that scenario make a difference to the vote? Because the vote is still you still got 6 people and those people are going to vote the way that they vote. So what I'm trying to get at is, it sounds to me like people who have a problem with someone choosing not to vote because they don't like either candidate, which is their right, okay? Which is their right. Let's not forget that. It is their right to not like either candidate, okay? And if they choose to withhold their vote because morally they're like, I don't want either of these people. I cannot look myself in the mirror and say that I put either of these people in office. What is wrong with that person having that right? Why are they being guilted by not by not voting? And it sounds like you guys only want them to vote if they're going to vote for the person that you want them to vote for. That's what I'm saying. That is unfair.
That's right.
And that is unfair to the person who is trying to make the decision whether or not they want to vote. It's their right. And I don't hear anybody else. It seems like it's only Black people that get ridiculed when they choose not to vote.
No, it's
because
not.
Our ancestors died for it.
Well, you know what?
I'm just saying,
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that. Sorry to cut you off. I was gonna say that.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go.
Mostly well, you know what? There probably are some white folk that didn't vote either, but I'm just going by my people that I talk to, being at work, and I'm talking about even in both elections. The first time Trump wanted to ran, and the second time, at work, a lot of people, I'm not voting. It's mostly the Black folk that was saying that they're not voting. So that's what I'm going by. That it's Black folk. People just don't want to vote because they just most people don't believe that their vote matters anyway. They believe that whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. That they've already got this predetermined. They've already know who exactly they want in there. So whoever they want in there, they're gonna put that person in there. Now, when you talk about Obama, did they really want Obama in there? I'm gonna say maybe
they
some.
did.
Yeah, I was just about to say that because he's a Black man, and there's no way in HE double hockey sticks that they would allow a Black man in there if they didn't really want him in there. So
there was a reason. There was a reason for that.
Obama
got elected
definitely
right off of Bush. It was right off the cuff of Bush and everything that happened with Katrina and all of that stuff. And Black people were very ready to we were for real ready to riot, and we had enough at that point. We really had enough at that point in this country.
It wasn't just us. It was it was a country
No,
as a
I
whole
know.
because because
Yeah, as a
he
whole,
had sent
yeah.
us to war with the whole weapons of mass destruction, blah blah
Right,
blah. It's there, it's not there, all of that, and then and then you have 9/11. So yeah,
right.
it definitely
But
made it easy escape.
Yeah.
we're right back. We're right back to it though. And y'all can say this is conspiracy theory or whatever. This is my opinion, and I get it. I can't got no facts. Because if I did, I probably wouldn't be alive to talk to y'all. But I'm just saying that I feel, just by looking through my eyes, it looks like a whole generation. It's a new generation, okay, that was able to vote after the two, like the people who were young coming up when Obama first was elected president. Through that whole
Mm-hmm.
time, they were old enough. They were old enough to know what happened in the Bush administration, okay, to hear whatever they heard at that time. And then now you got another 8 years that passed by. So if they were 10 years old during the Bush administration, by the time Obama comes around, well, if they were, let's say, I don't know, 15 years old, by the time, but when during the Bush administration, they were old enough to hear what was going on and have an opinion, right, as a teenager. Then you get Obama for 2 years after that. And now look where we are with Trump for 2 terms. I mean, 2 years. I meant 2 terms. Now we're at Trump, and we're right back to even worse than what it's similar to what was going on when Bush was in office. The second Bush was in office. You know what I'm saying? So it's like really the first one too, because we had Desert Storm when he was when his father was in office. So like I don't even understand what people. I don't know, man. We can go back through this whole history. It would take forever. My whole point is this: if back to the voting thing, if you really care about people voting, then we have to stop this. Like we have to change our reasoning why we want people to vote. It's not enough as a Black person, to me, it's not enough to just say that my ancestors died for it. They didn't die for that. They died for us to have justice, which we still don't have in this country, as we can see with what happened with Nolan, unfortunately, right? We see it happening all the time, that we still don't have justice, and we're still fighting for justice in this country. So my question is, can you guys at least understand why people are disgruntled about voting and why they don't feel like their vote matters? And I don't subscribe to that necessarily. I'm not like, I don't want to tell somebody not to vote. I would never tell anyone not to vote. But all I'm saying is all the gung-ho people who's like ridiculing people for not wanting to vote, take a second and think about why they feel that way. And then tell them something that's going to encourage them to vote. Don't try to guilt people into voting, because that's how you get people in the booth just voting Democrat, checking Democrat all the way down the line, not knowing who they're voting for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, and I'll just say this. As I said in the beginning, I see both sides. I
Mm-hmm.
would I don't. I've never had a conversation where I've pressed someone to vote, but I'm always going to have a debate because I like to debate,
Mm-hmm.
right?
No
So
doubt.
I want to know. I want to know why, and I'm going to give you I'm going to give you the other side of things.
Mm-hmm.
But I have, based on what I know in this country, I have a hard time pressing somebody to believe in the system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm glad, right? The reason why I don't really be attacking people either is because I'm glad, like Dre said, like, we are on different sides of this, and we're like really good friends, right? So like, it's not, some people let politics ruin relationships. It's not that serious. But
Nah,
at
never
the end
that,
of the
never that.
day,
Yeah.
yeah. But what I do like though, whether I agree with Dre or I don't, what he does is very important. You know what I'm saying? Because even though I might not agree, he might get someone who's just in the middle, who just says, "Oh, I'm just not voting at
Right.
all," and he might get
Right.
them to actually do some research. Just like, we had a comment.
Right.
Miss Kathy said, was talking about what was the comment? I don't want to get it wrong, but she was saying, I don't want to go and see what.
There you go.
Most people I spoke to really don't care. Yes, right. So like somebody who feels like that, Andre can inspire those people to actually. No, I know what it was. She said most people don't do research. Most people don't research. I believe that was her. Or,
yeah, exactly.
Or,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was her.
Yeah, most people don't do research. That's the truth. So Andre, something he says and how he feels passionate about this might get someone to actually do research on what they're voting on. You know what I mean? So who am I to tell Andre not to say that? And so that's why I say what I say. I mean, we got to respect each other and just realize that people actually have a right to vote. It's called the right to vote. You know what I'm saying? It's called the right to vote.
Yeah, not the obligation.
You have the right. You have the right to sit in the front of the bus now because of that fight. So do I not
I got
sit in the back
I got
of
an
the bus?
obligation to sit in the front, my G.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, do I now? I mean, like, am I obligated now to sit in the front? If somebody see me,
I'm obligated to sit in the
back
front.
of the bus. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, we can't. I have a right to do that. I can choose. I like the back of the bus. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that somebody tells me that I can't sit in the front. You know what I mean? But I would like to have the right to sit in the front. But that doesn't mean I have to sit in the front every single time I get on the bus. And I would be ready to hurt somebody. You know what I'm saying? I'd be ready to defend myself, I should say. If somebody started attacking me, if I got on the bus and a black person came on the bus and started berating me about being in the back and like get in the front of the bus. Your ancestors died for you to be in the front of the bus. No, they didn't. They died for me to have the right.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all. I'm good.
Yeah. Thank y'all. Thank everybody in the comments. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank y'all in the comments for watching and for participating. This show is not it's not a show without the audience. So thank you for your feedback.
Right.
We love that. We love that. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean
good comments too. We had some good comments.
Yeah. I think this is a good show.
Sure.
We've been on for an hour and 37 minutes. We weren't supposed to be on that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to be on that long.
On a school night.
Nah, for real.
Yeah, but I hope that everybody enjoyed this episode of Politics Unfiltered. We will continue to have more on the Nolan Wells situation. We're gonna come back with more of that. All right, guys. So please like this video and share. It doesn't cost anything to share. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button so that other people are notified. Diane said that she enjoyed, and Kathy Sanders said that she said very great show. Thanks. Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, and we'll be back on another episode of Politics Unfiltered right here on the Undisputed Network. Peace.
No doubt. Hit that outro.
Betty happening. Yeah. Racism's alive. Don't look away. ICE raised the streets. Innocent lives pay. Money for the missiles. Money for the war. But somehow there's nothing to feed the poor. What really happened to Nolan Wells? We're asking the questions nobody else tells. The White House is on fire. The people demand truth without fear. Justice in this land. Politics unfiltered.